Hey, this is Jacques Talafero, and we are rapping for real on the film Race LA as it's coming down to the wire. I'm gonna visit a young cousin of mine. Hey, Capo, you in there, man? Okay. Hey, what's up? All right, Capo, man.
What's up with you?
All right, I see you grinding it out, huh? Yeah, man. Just like our dear cousin Coolio, man, keeping up the entertainment grace. Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
So, you know what's happening here, man. The question of the day is Race LA, the mayor, whoever's mayor, what's the top things you should be doing? But before we get into that, man, pop one of your beats off, man, one of your raps off.
This life is harder than it seems. This shit is more than you and me. This life is harder than it seems. We gotta be all that we can be. Like Warren, like Malcolm. Tubman over these mountains came from tragic. But we disappear just as magic. All them people in Katrina on top of roofs, they went against famous levees and Bush. The definition of fearless. Nah, but you don't hear me. Like Ali saying, fuck Vietnam, I ain't fighting no Vietcong. Hear me with the picking natural. Or Angela Davis on this Warner poster. J. Edgar still can't face us. In the streets, they never run away in us. Tommy Smith or Juan Carlos, the definition of fearless.
All right, young cousins. Hey, man, thank you for that. And then, of course, the question of the day, regardless of who is the next mayor, what's the top things that they should address and conquer?
Okay, number one, I believe it should be the school system. They should start from the ground up, pre-K to 12, start while they're young.
Right.
And the next will be funding for the bus, food, and homelessness, and just getting our people right, man.
All right. Thank you, young cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And look forward to the soundtrack you're putting together for
soundtrack
Race LA.
Race LA,
Right.
Lahitz Media, Good Air Streaming, a live studio. Be on the lookout.
All right, me and Seafood Cool.
Flavor in your ear, LA flavor. Come get some flavor in your ear. Flavor, LA flavors in your ear. Flavors, LA flavors in your ear.
Hey, it's Jacques Talafero here in LA. Right now we're at the Awana premiere. It's the film is backing up Black Panther. So we're going to go in and see all the celebrities and see what's going on. It's going to be a big hit. All right, Jacques Talafero for Lahitz Media. Hey, this is Jacques Talafero, and we're continuing the film as you look at Tupac. And I did have the pleasure of producing one of his videos. We'll talk about that later, though. We're here at Soul Folks in Leimert Park, one of my favorite places. So how you doing, sir? What's your name and how you doing?
My name is Kwame. Doing great, man.
All right, and you?
I'm great. My name is Louis.
All right, and you, Madame? Mademoiselle?
Hi, my name is Iman.
Okay, so the question of the day for Race LA is, regardless of who wins the mayor's race, what are the top two topics that the mayor has to address and conquer? So we'll start with you. Ladies first. Is that okay, guys? Okay. So ladies first.
I would say homelessness and the cost of living. I would say we need more access for people who are experiencing homelessness and addressing like things like addiction.
So, sir, what's your number one or two?
I would say education and.
Okay, so we got homelessness. We have education and okay, sir, and your turn.
I would say education, well, and mental health.
Mental health. Okay. So, do you guys have any idea how they should address those, or they'll just
Therapy.
Therapy.
Free
Okay.
therapy.
Free therapy. There we go.
Especially for black folks. We need it.
What about the stigma that black people don't go to therapy? You know that stigma, right? I mean, there's been like many comedians that have talked about it. And I actually study psychology, and I know for a fact that a lot of people, if they want to go to get mental health, sometimes they get some ribbing from their so supposedly friends, peers. It's just not considered something that black people do.
Yeah.
So we got to get over that stigma, I believe. Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming on the documentary. Race LA. All right. Here it so, folks. I love this place.
In her final day of campaigning for LA Mayor, Congresswoman Karen Bass receiving another big boost of support from Vice President Kamala Harris.
The way we are going to solve our problems in LA is to make sure that all levels of government are aligned. And how more aligned can we be than to have the Vice President of the United States here?
Let's be engaged again today. Today is election day. There is so much on the ballot. Let's vote for Karen Bass for mayor.
Earlier, Bass casting her own vote in Baldwin Hills, joined by her grandson and sounding optimistic.
Really looking forward to celebrating tonight.
She's also urging voters to head to the polls despite the weather.
Please don't stay home because of the rain.
The race is tight, and Bass will need every last vote if she wants to declare victory. The latest UC Berkeley LA Times poll shows a near dead heat, with Bass receiving 45% support to Rick Caruso's 41%. That's within the margin of error, meaning until all ballots are counted, the race is a toss-up.
I am excited about a new direction in Los Angeles. I know that we can come together. We can house Angelinos. We can make Angelinos.
Dr. Talafero for Lahitz Media. And of course, we're here in LA, and we are continuing the film Race LA. And right now, we're obviously at Rick Caruso's campaign headquarters. And I'm here with,
my name is Dr. Truth Bay. I'm a housing navigator and volunteer for Rick Caruso campaign.
Okay, and as everybody knows, has been covering the film, or been following the film, our question is, regardless of who becomes mayor, what do you think are the top 2 issues that the mayor needs to address and conquer? So I'm just going to give you a heads up, because people have already known. So homeless seems to be number 1 and 2 and maybe even 3. So we talked earlier, so you do say homelessness, but what maybe are some of the other issues?
Well, crime and corruption. Those are the top 3, because currently we have a circus, LA City Council, which is definitely with the audio recording and the racism that's been exposed. That's something that confirms the legalities of how, especially people of color in Los Angeles is treated. So homelessness, crime, and corruption are the top 3. Definitely needs to be changed.
And that was terrific what you just said, because you never know when you're making a film like this, so there's always twists and turns. Mm-hmm. And of course, we were at City Hall with the finasco, as I'll put it, of the city councilman and what happened there. Yeah. But I'll say I was actually raised in San Francisco, but blessings to my cousins in the southeast section. And
Watts.
Yes, 103rd, 120th off Mona. Bless you, my dear cousin Coolio, who just passed away, but grew up in that neighborhood. And I remember talking with some of the neighbors, Hispanic neighbors. This was maybe like 20 years ago, 15 in there. But they were saying that they were really upset with the black council people because they had gotten into office, and unfortunately had been as mean as some of the other people were there before.
They're all complacent, and I don't think it's a color issue at this point. I think it's just a corruption issue. And Marquise Harris Dawson and Karen Price should have stepped up to the plate, but unfortunately, they're, like you said, just as complacent. So we really don't have a representation of Black Angelinos in Los Angeles, and we're hoping that will change afterwards. You know, Mr. Caruso has been very open, and he's been actually doing the rounds in certain areas where Karen Bass still has not met with us, and we have 3 meeting requests for her. And she's in our district, born and raised, Community Coalition, we're very familiar, but a lot of African-American organizations are still waiting for her to respond for a meeting request. And this was before mayor selection for her and afterwards. So if she's not going to meet with her constituents now, then we don't expect her to meet with us after, or if she ever gets in office. And that's a problem.
This is a really intense race. It's
yes.
People who saw the film that I did on San Francisco's mayor race, this is just as intense and just as prolific. So I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A little bit about the next mayor. Whoever that mayor is, what do you think they should be doing for the arts?
Well, I believe one of the things is somehow it has to be indoctrinated back into schools. There's got to be a start there.
Yes.
because that's how it begins. That's how it begins. You got to have, because there's a lot of budgets that are going for all the athletics in schools, but what about the theater, the music departments? Because some of these schools have some pretty extensive budgets for football and basketball.
Without a doubt.
But what about the music department?
Yeah.
What about the theater department? Ceramics, all those sort of things. So that's one thing. It's not the most important thing for the city, but if you're talking about art and artists, that's the direction they could start in.
Well, as an artist, I'm going to have to agree with you 10,000%, sir. But, I do realize that, food and shelter comes first.
Well, it does come first, because you think about a person looking to get involved in arts. Well, they've also got to eat, too. You have a lot of people, who knows how many of the people that are living on the streets are artistic in their own sort of way. And they're on the street right now. So, and living and having a roof over your head mentally, it does a lot for you. You have food in your stomach. You have a place to eat. You have a place to be artistic. You're working. So it's all part together. It's not. There's not an end all fix for that.
Exactly.
So that's one of the things they can do for artists, as far as starting with that.
Well, thank you for coming on Lahitz and LA, or Race LA, I should say. I didn't know you were so wise when I stopped you, sir. And keep flying, man. Awesome. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
All right.
Current price, 89. Firm support for Karen Bass.
Okay.
But I think these are important issues that whoever wins would have to address. Homelessness and economic development.
Okay. Do you have any quick suggestions on how they may go about that?
Nothing quick. I think we got to work together. It has to be collaboration. We have to utilize stretch limited resources and do things that we haven't done before. But in terms of the homelessness, we need more housing. We got to do it quicker. It has to be cheaper.
Absolutely.
It's got to be, and it has to be wrapped around.
Okay. Thanks for coming on.
Hi there.
Hey. Bon appetit, guys. How's it going?
Good. Good. Thank you.
All right. So we're here at this beautiful event in Grand Park, LA. And you know what? Do you mind just moving a little bit into the sun, because the picture's a little bit dark here?
Lighting?
Yeah, the lighting. So the question of the day is, for mayor, regardless of who wins the mayor's race, what do you think are the top issues that the mayor needs to address and conquer?
Okay, so my name's Jimmy Saldivar. I work with my partner Ray Sepulveda. We work for Cultivarte Studios, where we screen print and we make frames.
Okay.
Artwork frames. Our shop is in the city of Bell. I live in the city of Commerce. Ray lives in Huntington Park.
So where can people get in contact with you on the World Wide Web?
You can find us on Instagram as Cultivarte, and we are, if you Google our Cultivarte, you can find our website as well.
Okay, I love commerce and keeping it going. But back to the film.
Okay,
back to
so
the film.
the two top things I think the next mayor should focus on is getting a grip on the housing crisis, maybe controlling, maybe putting forth some sort of rent control, or I don't know, just focusing on the issue of homelessness and the housing crisis is number one. And I think number two, maybe infrastructure. Maybe it's really nice to see new train lines opening up, but maybe to see more bus lines operating more frequently and for free. Hopefully, I think the bus should ultimately be free for the people. I know it's difficult to achieve, but I think focusing on infrastructure, public transit.
Well, I think you have some good ideas, and it's not that difficult, because other countries, transportation is free, and they have far less capital than the United States. So so thanks for coming on Race LA. Appreciate your opinions and astute evaluations. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Jacques Talafero, and we're doing the film Race LA, and now we're going to talk with a black businesswoman. How are you doing, ma'am?
Hello, I'm Tyra, here with More Love. This is my natural skincare product. They were all natural ingredients, and if you follow me, I'll give you.
Let me get a quick shot of your, there you go. And that's you, right?
This is me.
Okay, that's so cool.
So this is all natural products. We have 100% shea butter and jojoba oil. This will be your natural UV protector, your natural perfume, softens up your skin. If you see, I'm
absolutely
model.
Gorgeous skin. So you're going to take us out and kind of show us a little bit of up the street here?
African town.
Okay, I love that.
So this is where we come, our small vendors come out, and we share our creative.
Go ahead.
So we share, everyone, I make my body butters. We have people making handbags, jewelry, food. So what we need here is resources. support. Family and friends coming out and supporting the small vendors. We need sponsorships from large companies.
So, of course, this is a film about the race for mayor, and we have basically three main candidates. Without endorsing any of the candidates, this is probably the number one. Are you telling me is this the number one issue that's concerning a lot of African-American business women? How is the next mayor going to help?
Okay, so yes, it would help by just giving us resources to be able to develop our small businesses even more. Like for me, I've been looking for resources for media support, just being able to get my business out there more. So if someone was able to come and sponsor more love, that would be great. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of small businesses would love someone to come and show them the way, really.
So speaking of that, just into the camera, how do people get in touch with you? Are you on Instagram or what's up?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. That's morelove_body butters. I also have my own website, morelove, that's spelled MOORLOVES.com. That's where you can see all my products. And of course, I'm here every Sunday from 10 to 6 in Lamert Park.
Gotcha. Thanks for coming on the film, Race LA. This is Jacques Talaferro, and we're going to talk to some other people here in Lamert Park as we continue the filming of Race LA. Hey, this is Jacques Talaferro. We're here in LA, and we're actually at the USC campus, and I'm here with these two lovely ladies. And the question of the day is, what are the two top issues that you feel whoever wins the race for mayor, what are the top two issues you think they need to address and conquer? So we'll do it with this lady first. Okay, how about you? Is that okay?
I would say homelessness is a major issue in Los Angeles, and I would also say just communication issues across the board, across races, across class, and getting more engaged. I think the mayor should be more engaged within all the communities in Los Angeles, and not only Los Angeles city area, but the county area as well.
Gotcha. Okay, absolutely. And you, young lady?
Yeah, no, I think homelessness is definitely like the biggest problem that I see. It's the fact that like the city doesn't really provide any kind of like support system for like the homeless, or like any like, you know, like not enough like shelters for them, that they, you know, end up in like public space, but then like get thrown out of like even the public space because people don't want to see them on the streets because like they find them like unpleasant or whatever. So that's like very unsustainable to me and doesn't really solve like the roots of the problem. And I mean, also related to that in general, it's just like the wealth inequality. I think like the wealth inequality that we see, like especially in just like urban planning and infrastructure, how some neighborhoods, you know, have like potholes that don't get fixed for like months, and some places, you know,
it's fixed the next day.
Yeah, are fixed the next day, are literally made up of money, you know. Different kind of people like walk on those streets. So I think that wealth segregation is simply something that needs to be addressed in the long term.
Absolutely. Thank you, ladies, for your astute observations there. Lahitz Television, and we're going to continue Race LA.
After nearly $100 million in ad spending, an all-time record, a new LA Times poll shows that the race to become LA's next mayor is now in a statistical tie. Rick Caruso has narrowed the gap by winning over undecided voters. Karen Bass's support, though, continues to be strong. She's hoping all of her supporters show up. Chelsea Edwards live for us in Venice tonight with the latest. And Chelsea, it is going to be a busy weekend. We see the Caruso bus behind you.
Yeah. Yeah, just getting on it. We've been with Mr. Caruso for the last 30 minutes or so. You can see he's posing with various residents. We've been walking up and down Venice, talking to business owners about some of their concerns here. He's on a 4-day bus tour. We talked to him about those latest poll numbers that you just mentioned. Listen here.
You know, what the LA Times said today is we're basically tied, you know, within the margin of error. I think we shaved off 12 points in the last 30 days. So it's absolutely winnable. Every vote is going to count. So hopefully everybody gets out there and votes.
Yeah, so Merchant Way in Venice, one of the stops, and asking a lot of people to do just that, to vote for him. Certainly getting a lot of support out here. He's traveling all over to LA, meeting with community members from every corner, trying to drive home that message that he is the only candidate in this race with real solutions, according to his campaign. Now, all this campaigning, Alex, you mentioned, appears to have worked. He spent tens of millions of dollars on attack ads. They've appeared to have resonated with voters. There's this poll by the LA Times and UC Berkeley showing he's now getting support from 41% of likely voters, creeping in very close to Karen Bass's 45%. And then when you consider other factors, it comes out to a statistical tie.
Hey there, this is Jacques Talafero here in Los Angeles on the last day of shooting of Race LA, being November 8th. And it's a heated, contested campaign between Karen Bass and Rick Caruso. So right now we're in Los Angeles again, and we're at the Rosa Parks Metro Station. And of course, Rosa Parks is an icon in the civil rights movement. And of course, in the civil rights movement, the movement for equality includes the right to vote. So right now, the polls are about to close probably in about 2-3 more hours. And we'll see who wins Race LA and the important issues that concern all people in LA, which basically is most concerns of every urban area throughout the United States. Jacques Talafero, Lahitz Media. Hey, we're here in LA, and we're talking with this lady. You're involved with the campaign. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what's going on.
Hi, I'm a resident of LA. We're here at the Karen Bass Kickoff for volunteers to get involved. And yeah, I'm a volunteer with Karen Bass, lived in LA my whole life.
So the question is, the top 2 issues you feel that the mayor, whoever is elected mayor, what are the top 2 issues that the mayor needs to address and conquer?
So I think the top 2 issues, regardless of who's elected, is finding housing with dignity for unhoused people, and protecting voter rights, voter registration, making sure that people are able to show up and vote if they care about it.
Absolutely. I think those are 2 great top 2. All right, so thank you for coming on Lahitz show about LA, the race for mayor of LA. Adios.
Councilmember Kevin DeLeon has defied widespread calls for him to resign after hearing him in a recorded racist conversation with council members Gil Cedillo and Nuri Martinez.
Some council members walked out of today's meeting when he walked in. Eyewitness News reporter Eric Resendiz has the latest.
Chaos erupted during LA City Council meeting on Friday. Police officers wearing riot gear, demonstrators demanding for embattled councilman Kevin DeLeon to resign. DeLeon casually walked in and sat down. Then folks started to notice he was there. Councilmember Mike Bonin got up and left shortly after. Some of his other colleagues also left the meeting, still angry about the racist recording scandal from October. Minutes after DeLeon walked in, Bonin tweeted this: "Vile racist Kevin DeLeon just showed up for council. I walked out, as did Marquise Harris-Johnson and Nithya Raman. He needs to resign." A recess was called and other council members came up to talk to DeLeon. DeLeon lasted about 20 minutes in the chamber before he got up, left, and waved goodbye. Councilmember Bonin then made his remark about DeLeon's presence during a motion presentation about damages and protests that happened in the chamber.
The problem was on those tapes. The problem is in this room. The problem is that somebody's ego refuses to get out of the way of his need to resign. The road to redemption begins with resignation, and that will end the protests.
During the meeting, many voiced they want De Leon to resign. Some were removed from the chamber.
KDL is anti-black!
But others stood up in support of keeping the council member in his seat and for the city council to not move forward with a motion report that would impose consequences on censured council members.
Su tiempo aquí con nosotros.
Just like me, I believe that other immigrants feel that Mr. Kevin De Leon finish his term.
This would be the second time in a matter of a few years that we would be left without representation. I think there should be a premeditated set of rules and appropriate consequences should a censorship occur. However, you cannot build a plane mid-flight. Please withdraw this motion as it does not establish appropriate procedures that would allow our district to function.
We have reached out to Councilmember Kevin De Leon asking for an on-camera interview. As of now, we have not heard back. We also reached out to his team asking for a statement. They say they will put one out, but we haven't received it.
Hey, this is Jacques Talafero. We're here in LA, as you can see. And right now, we're at LA City Hall. And we are continuing the film Race LA. And there's been a new twist, which of course in every film there is. And this new twist is that 3 Hispanic city board members will probably be forced to step down from their positions because of some racist, sexist, and also homophobic reports that they did. So right now we're here, and it was a huge rally early. The crowd is pretty much has dissipated right now, but you can see that some of the press is still here, and this is really just something that I've been seeing happen over the last 15 years, and that is the complete dismantling of good relationships between black and brown people. So this doesn't surprise me, even though I'm sure it does surprise some people. Because I remember, this was maybe 15 years ago, right by my aunt's house in East LA, I had a conversation with some of my Hispanic neighbors. And they were saying that the people that they voted for, the black city council people, were acting as bad or worse than some of the white people that were voted in. And so I think that, 15 or so years later, you see that they've gotten elected and they have followed the same mantra, the same prejudice mantra that people have when they get into power. As they have said many times before, power corrupts. So again, Race LA, this is Jacques Talafero. We're going to continue filming. I'm going to see what I can see who I can talk to about the race for LA and what this means to Los Angeles residents. Jacques Talafero, Lahitz Media.
We are also calling another major race for the mayor of Los Angeles. NBC News can now project that Congresswoman Karen Bass will win. About 76% of the votes are in, and she ran against real estate developer Rick Caruso. They both ran as Democrats, but only the Congresswoman had her party's backing. Mr. Caruso had the backing of fellow billionaire Elon Musk. Now, technically, the mayor of LA, to be clear, is a nonpartisan office. Karen Bass would become the first woman to hold that office. She spent nearly a decade as a Democratic Congresswoman for California's 37th district, that's southwest of downtown LA. Her endorsements included former President Obama, Vice President Kamala Harris, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and Senator Bernie Sanders.